Good evening, my fellow seekers of happiness and emotional health. Tonight we're going to look at wisdom because dealing with stress involves having a modicum of wisdom. But first, we need to know what is wisdom. But it's not that hard to answer, actually. Everybody thinks, oh, wisdom. Okay, let's give you an example. I've mentioned this a couple of times. Quotes from movies where the wise old person or the old entity says things like, if you do not control your anger will control you. Which you could say, oh, okay. We could do that in everyday life, couldn't we? If you do not control your credit card spending will control you. Good point. What just happened there? I think it's it's Faulty Towers, John Cleese and Polly. What was her name? Oh, his wife, Connie Booth. Connie Booth. Yeah, they wrote it, and at one point he talks about his, I'll call it the stage wife, the drama wife, who. Gosh, it's been that long since I saw her. I can't remember the names very well. Anyway, she says something and he goes on and says there's a statement of the bleeding obvious, which got contracted down to a sotbo. So wisdom sometimes can be cliches and sotbos, but sometimes it's a little deeper. However, I have a much simpler definition. I'll give you one other example of wisdom from one culture's point of view. I once wrote a song, and this person who's an adherent of an Eastern religion came up to me and said, wow, that was so deep. And all I'd written was, although I did write it in my woo-woo days, the mist rolls in from the sea, the rain falls down to the stream becomes a river, and the river becomes a sea. Ta-da! And that was written as I was waiting in my car for someone to turn up, and I noticed that it was going to rain, and all of a sudden this verse, I write songs, by the way, and have done for a very long time, so that was there, and I just wrote it down, and then the second verse on a similar line, following a similar sort of train of thought, suggested itself within about 10 minutes. So that was like an 11-minute song. I like those sort. Didn't have to worry about. Anyway, okay, getting back to the point. What is wisdom? What is wisdom? Well, how about this for a nice simple definition? It's not telling you what happens in the earth with the cycles. It's not telling you that if you don't take action against ABC, then you're going to lose control and you will be its puppet. It's this. And I'm going to preface this by pointing out that in view of what I'm going to say, it's not going to be the same for everybody. I'll point out why afterwards. Wisdom is knowing how to avoid pain. You think of every saying that you've ever thought of as wise. Stitch in time saves nine. Mother of invention is necessity. Yoda would say. Well, all of Yoda's sayings, they're basically observations, either observations on the world as it is, that maybe you haven't even thought of before, or, and, in other words, slash and or, they are knowing how to avoid pain. Because if you don't work with the world, the universe, whatever it is you want to call it, life, on its terms, according to its rules, then you are going to be banging your head against a wall for a very, very, very long time. The world does have rules. You cannot change the order of the seasons. You cannot demand that the banks give you all their money and then forgive it, except in very special circumstances. So up to a point, Yoda observing how the Force works was just an example of wisdom, as in if you go against it, it's going to not be, the result will not be very good for you, but if you go with it, then according to the Star Wars movies, you will be in the flow. You'll be going with the flow. Now, why did I say that it varies for everybody? Because one person's pain is another person's pleasure. And I'll give you an example, a very, very concrete example. Not everybody enjoys pets. Not everybody enjoys being a parent. Not everybody enjoys being married or in a relationship. Not everybody enjoys being single. Not everybody enjoys a BC job. So if you know that, and we'll take the jobs because it's less contentious and is less likely to get any hate mail, but if you know for a fact that you don't like the sight of blood and you're squeamish, then being involved in medical careers is probably not going to be for you. So the wisdom for you there would be avoid those kinds of jobs. Yeah? If you don't like interacting with people very much and you, for whatever reason, we'll leave it at that, then having a kind of front-facing hospitality job probably isn't going to be for you. So up to that point, wisdom is knowing how to avoid your pain. But there are other pains. Going back to the credit card debt, I can't imagine anybody who loves being snowed under with massive debts. So that would apply there. Okay. There are other wider issues here, but that's a good starting point. And once you bear that in mind in all your thinking and your considerations and your plans, then you will start getting an answer to the other questions. Is this a good fit for me? Will this work for me? Or am I going to wish that I'd never done this? And that will be one way of not dealing with stress, but avoiding it. A good way to avoid stress is to do so in advance. Or as I say in the second Karate Kid, best way to deal with punch is not be there. I think I'm paraphrasing it. Okay, if you found this useful, like, subscribe, and all those other buttons down there. Press them, go on, have some fun. Press just like Elf in the elevator. Woo, it's like a Christmas tree. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.